We're live.
Then it
We
blocks.
are live.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
are we?
wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll find another one.
hello.
So hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good
Yeah.
evening.
Hello.
Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from percysgrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this evening, we have Marge.
That's right, everyone. Marge back in Canada. Very excited about that. And also the host of, I was going to say High on Homegrown. Bite Me, the show about edibles.
Oh, she got a promotion.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Woo!
She's hosting them all now.
She
That's
is.
right.
She's an expert.
Yes, it's the professionalism. That's what it is. And of course, we have Monkey Do.
Hi, everybody. Monkey down here in the Southeast U.S. having a nice, bright, beautiful Sunday afternoon today. Hope everybody's got something nice to smoke on.
You say Sunday? It's like
It is
a mix
Sunday.
between
Sunday. What is it?
Saturday,
Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday. It's one of these days today. You know, I
know.
didn't look at the calendar today. Thinking like, yeah, we did a show yesterday though, so I was kind of like,
Yeah,
which
that's
one is
right.
it?
Yeah, it was weird. Like,
It was.
Is it Sunday today? Surely
It
it's
is
Sunday. He
Sunday.
did his show yesterday. Yeah, put that in the movie.
It was a fun show too. If anybody didn't see it, get out there and check out our conspiracy special.
Yeah, good conversations about some crazy stuff, man. Damn. Yeah, freaked out listening to that episode in places.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't know
Yeah.
if I need to get more freaked out by. I keep seeing these crazy AI videos that are like,
Oh,
I
God.
know, right? Marge, you keep up with this stuff. Have you seen the new ChatGPT 4.0, I think it's called?
yes, I've seen a bit of that. And also, Google unveiled its new one, I think the day after.
That's right.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Madness. Such a jump forward.
I know. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to like get an AI panel member pretty soon. You know? 'Cause that's going to be possible.
No.
We could just sit here and have AI join. What do you think, AI bot? And then it will give its opinion. It's crazy. Damn. Very cool. If anybody hasn't seen it, make sure you go out there and look into the new version of ChatGPT 4.0. It just came out a few days ago, and it's pretty impressive. I think so.
But what I wanted to know is how do I access it? They were showing a lot of features that aren't yet accessible, I think.
I think
maybe
you
to
can't
be
have it yet. I think it's not
Okay.
for us. They're just doing the testing on it, but it'll be
Oh.
on a phone, wouldn't it? Like a Samsung or something.
It's one of
Oh,
those,
yeah.
yeah. Look at the cool stuff you can't do.
Right.
Yeah. Damn, it's gonna be so cool.
Such a tease.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a different show. We're here
Yeah,
to talk about cannabis
true.
news today, and we have some interesting news stories as we do every week. And as usual, I'm scanning through all the news articles here in the UK. I must have gone through like 50 articles, and same shit as usual, man. It's just bust after bust after bust. Found 200 cannabis plants. Found 3 cannabis plants. Somebody arrested for a small amount of cannabis for absolutely no reason. And all this shit. That's what you see all the way through the searches, man. But I managed to find some very interesting ones in the end. And they just contradict each other. It shows the hypocrisy. I have these 2 articles. What to do when your neighbour smokes cannabis and how to tell the police. You know, I'm not telling you
Yeah,
how to do this, obviously. I'm telling you what to avoid in that one.
I saw that come up in my news feed, during the week, and I was going like, no, this can't be what this means.
But you know what the fucked up thing is, and we'll get into more detail when we get to these articles in the middle of the show. But the next article I've got to cover is UK medical cannabis use surges. So I'm wondering, let's wait until we get to that article. I am going to try and stay calm, everybody. All right, I'm not going to fucking freak out. All right, I'm going to take deep breath. It's all good. We have something from Cannabis Canada Weekly, where the market is expected to double over the next few years. The cannabis market in Canada, that's going to be huge. That's already a big market. We have Mayor Adams announces 75 illegal smoke and cannabis shops ordered to close, with nearly 6 million in I don't know. It says penal
penalty, probably. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Calm down, Billy. Billy's not here. He's busy today. Just saying.
He's like, that's a big penal, yeah.
Yeah. Minnesota Constitution gives cannabis growers the right to sell what they produce without a license, lawsuit claims, which is very interesting to hear. I want to see what the lawsuit is claiming and hear the finer details of this, because that's cool. We should be able to sell home grow, but I don't know. Should we? Well, you don't need a license to sell cupcakes. Don't need a license to sell tomatoes. So Interesting.
Exactly.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to get to that one.
Yeah.
And why are U.S. officials seizing regulated cannabis in New Mexico? We don't know, but we'll find out when we hit that article later on as well. So we got a lot to cover here, lots of cool news stories. So roll some fat ones, as we do every week on Sunday, get super high, and we'll discuss some of this stuff. But first, what are we all smoking on? Marge, what's it like to be back in Canada and have abundancy and just ease of access to cannabis again?
It's so nice. I got my medical card not long before I left, and so I placed an order as soon as I got back because I didn't have a chance to do that. I was like, this is so wonderful, but I'm doing edibles today because, that's my first love.
That's unlike you, Marge, to do edibles.
Really?
It's not like me. No, not at all.
No,
That's
no.
so weird.
What
So
even
weird.
is cannabis? How long does it take to kick in? Why is
Well,
time moving really slowly?
What is time? Time is relative.
Indeed. Gosh, what you got, Monkey? You on some edibles as well today?
Well, no, that was this morning. I always have my edibles in the morning, but that's mostly worn off. So I'm doing Gruber Hans today. Gruber Hans.
Gruber
Nice.
Fox.
Nice. And I don't know if I mentioned, I've like been curing some weed for like 2 or 3 months. I think it's Sam Squatch or something. I can't even remember. It's been so long.
Sam
but-
Squanch.
Sam Squanch, yeah. You know what? I think you correct me every time I say it, man. Like I still haven't got it correct. But it's shit. I got some of
they're
that shit
both
out,
wrong.
man. Yeah, probably. Yeah, but we all know what I mean. It's all good. That's stuff from Mephisto,
Yeah.
But he's just got this fruity flavor with this old school kind of hazy flavor to it as well. It's so fucking delicious, man. It's so good. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. It's very, very nice. So good weed. I hope everybody's smoking on some good shit in the chat there as well. Pagans on street rubbish, unlucky man. So we'll just call that Star Dog. That's what we call it, just Star Dog around here.
That's it, man.
Hashimoto's got Marshmallow OG. Nice. Is Topanga Canyon a monkey seed? No, it's not, as far as I know.
No, it's not.
Random. Mad Dog is smoking that. That's why he's mentioned that. Chem 4 from Twisted. What's up, Twisted? What else do we have, man? Mimosa OG. Vaping Mimosa OG with Prof Herb CBD and anti-anxiety blend mix in. That's a detailed explanation. Thank you. That's cool.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, Billy's probably out there. Oh, Sparky's got lemon tree.
Lemon
Tropicana
tree.
cherry.
Nice.
Backblast has got Tropicana cherry. I'm jealous as all
Beautiful.
hell, man. I haven't
Man.
had that since Barcelona.
You all need to share. Come on, pass
I'm
some of
telling
that
you.
shit around in the circle.
I need a bean or I need a cut. I need to get some of that stuff, man.
Maybe you could do could you do tissue culture on like dry cannabis?
I don't think so.
Yeah. If
Somebody
only.
would have figured that. That would be
Yeah.
the future.
That's kind of like unscrambling an egg. Technically, maybe you could do it technically, but not really.
We don't have the technology yet, but maybe we will
Correct.
one day. Anyway, with that, and of course, don't forget as well, we have the Monkey Giveaway to do at some point throughout the show as well, where we do a
Amen.
spin on the wheel, a random name gets chosen, and you get to win some monkey beans. So, sorry, Monkey.
Today we're going to do 5 Quirkle Femmes.
Nice. And the people who have entered have already entered over at percysgrowroom.com. And if you want to enter into next week's competition, then sign up over at Percy's and have more than 10 posts and you'll be able to enter. And maybe you can win some beans next week. So go and check it out over on Percy's. The thread will be up tomorrow. Okay. So with that then, I think we are ready to move on to the news. Are we all good?
I'm good.
I'm great.
Let's do it. So where do we even begin? Monkey, I think we should begin with you coming from Minnesota.
Okay, now, this was an article that was sent in by some of our members from the state, and it was sent in to me last Sunday morning. Didn't have a time to get it on the schedule, was going to cover it if we had time. We ran a little long, so immediately, as soon as we did not cover the story, I was barely off from the podcast, and I got mail from somebody in Minnesota saying I didn't get my story. So now we're going to get to it. Here we go. But it's a good story, though. It says Minnesota Constitution gives cannabis growers the right to sell what they produce without a license, lawsuit claims. Okay, now
Well,
this is a continuation of a story earlier. I did a little research on this, and we didn't cover the story earlier, but about 9 months or so ago, like that, a similar claim was made in Minnesota, and the state seemed to squash it, saying, "Oh, that's not the way it is." But anyway, now we are going to have a lawsuit that they're going to have to try and defend in court. So, okay. The first lawsuit since the legalization of cannabis in Minnesota that seeks to use a state constitutional provision to allow the unlicensed sale of cannabis by a farmer who grows it has been filed in state court. 4 residents who grow a small amount of cannabis at home, which is legal under the new law, are suing the state Office of Cannabis Management, saying they should also be allowed to sell it under the provision of the state's constitution. The lawsuit, which names OCM intern director, Office of Cannabis Management Director Charlene Briner, and State Attorney General Keith Ellison, was filed Tuesday in Ramsey County District Court and challenges the provisions in the new state's new cannabis law, stating that only those licensed by the state can sell it. Those licenses are not expected to be granted until next spring and are expected to be competitive. So here we go. But the plaintiff, citing Article 13, Section 7 of the state's constitution, challenges the state's authority to prevent the sale of cannabis by a farmer who grows it. No license required to peddle. This is a quote from the state constitution. No license required to peddle. Any person may sell or peddle the products from a farm or garden occupied and cultivated by him without attaining a license therefor. Says
Wow.
provision adopted 120 years ago.
That's
So
it.
basically,
Done.
if you grew it, you can sell it. This is in
That's
the
right.
state constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty strong. That provision resulted from the arrest of a farmer who was selling an excess of melons on the streets of Minneapolis without a peddler's permit. When hemp and cannabis were legal, a few court cases brought under the new provision said no one could sell it, even a farmer who grew it. But it became legal to grow and possess on August 1st, 2023. Did the legal calculus change? That's the argument brought by 4 state residents who are growing up to 8 cannabis plants of their own at home. 3 of the 4 are medical cannabis patients, including Patrick McClellan, who lives with a rare form of muscular dystrophy and has been an advocate for medical cannabis since before it was legal. I need water. Clayton McClellan's plant produced more product than he can reasonably consume for recreational or medicinal purposes, the lawsuit claims. The cost of growing at home are significant. The costs include equipment for proper cultivation, as well as additional expenses in order to be statutorily compliant and cultivate his medicine within his home. Clayton McClellan cannot reasonably consume all cannabis that he has cultivated in his home for his medical purposes. As a patient who has endured the struggle of gaining access to affordable and safe medical marijuana, Clayton McClellan would like to offset the cost of growing cannabis by selling the excess crop to other similarly situated individuals. Now, similarly situated individuals, does that mean he wants to sell it to other people with excess?
Yeah, yeah.
I know what it means, but it is kind of
Mhm.
written funny there, though. I think what he's basically saying, he wants to sell it to other medical patients.
Yeah.
Or similarly situated individuals, people who enjoy cannabis.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who wants it, pretty much these days.
It's pretty vague, you know.
Well, as is this entire Constitution thing here, you know. The suit asks the court to declare that people who grow their own cannabis at home do not need to obtain a license to sell their product, and asked the court to block the state from bringing any criminal enforcement of the sale of cannabis produced from home cultivation pursuant to the constitutional provision based on the absence of a license to do so. Basically, they're saying if you grow it at home, we should be able to sell it at home. And I think every home grower feels this way. I know I would like to be able to do that, but I am not going to do it, and I am not going to push it. But that would be, farmers market, cannabis farmers market is where I would like to go shop.
Yeah, man.
I want to go, walk
Same.
up there. Yeah, we'll walk up the street and talk to the person who grew it, smell it, feel it, talk to the person, decide if I want it or not. That would be ideal. And I think this guy, if he could ever get this done, oh man, would that be so good. Minneapolis attorney Jeffrey O'Brien brought the lawsuit. An affidavit filed in the case. O'Brien said He first wrote the Office of Cannabis Management and the Department of Health asking for a declaratory opinion that they would not take action against home growers who sell. Health, which includes Office of Cannabis, Medical Cannabis, did not respond. A brief email from OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, does not issue advisory opinions. We are aware of the discussion surrounding the product of the farm exemption and cannabis and monitoring it closely. Given that your question may implicate matters of criminal law, we recommend reaching out to the county's attorney and relevant jurisdiction. So this is being batted around like a legal hot potato. Nobody wants to touch it.
Damn. Do you think
Well,
it
I
was
mean-
a open and shut case when it's just written in the Constitution like that? No, the state constitution would have to be amended somehow to correct that if they wanted to change it just for
Well,
cannabis, right?
They could block alcohol because you're not growing that at home. You know, that has to be processed and things like that. But cannabis is truly a crop. I mean, it's the same thing as if I would be selling oregano. I'm going to grow it. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to package it. I'm going to sell it. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing with cannabis. I'm going to grow it, dry it, package it, sell it. Bam. That's it. I don't know. It seems, like you said, Mackie, it seems cut and dry, but I think, you know, this is the case in a lot of legalization around the United States. People start fishing around within laws, and I think we have a lot of legal people, a lot of politician people that start playing, let's say, semantics with the law. You know, more I read this article, the more I've gone through the article, many times as I've gone through the article, I have to say it does just make sense that they just basically legalized home grow. So I don't know. That would be it makes me want to move to Minnesota.
Yeah, man. And this was the first state to do something like this, right? To be able to
Well,
allow...
it's not legal.
Well, yeah.
This is a lawsuit, but you know, this state constitution, like I said, we have 50 states, and you know, we even have the District of Columbia. So we have 51 jurisdictions here, and each one can have a different constitution. And in this state, the Constitution says you can sell your homegrown produce. I don't know if there's any other constitution that says that. And when they legalized cannabis, they did not amend the state constitution to disallow cannabis. And that's what they're trying to do right here. Is they're trying to say that you said this, we want to do this. And that would be such a great way for a home grower to offset his costs and help a friend and help friends.
Because some good points were brought up in there as well. Now, growing cannabis at home is not free. You know? It costs electricity, it costs seeds. You know, if you're growing indoors anyway, when you're growing outdoors, not so much. But fertilizers and stuff, that all still costs money. You know,
it costs you
proper
time,
security,
yes,
because it's outdoors. You know,
all
this,
these things. So
And-
anyway, let's see.
sorry, Mickey,
We'll keep on moving a little bit. Attorney O'Brien said Thursday that he doesn't think his clients are being unreasonable. They are allowed to grow cannabis, and they can even give their excess away, he said. They should, under the Constitution, be allowed to sell what they grow as long as the buyers are 21 years or older. As long as we stay within the lanes that you set up in terms of the rules and regs, as long as we limit it to what we can grow legally, it would seem straightforward that you're able to sell the product off of those plants per Article 13, Section 7 of the Constitution, O'Brien said. Now, they can have 8 plants. Think about 8 photoperiod outdoor summer plants.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you're
that
staying at
was-
home to play Call of Duty all day. You know?
Exactly, man. No, I'm not saying everybody's going to do that, but you know, you can see where all the lights are going off up there in the government right now, going, "Oh my God, what did we do here?" So of course they're going to deny this because they just realized that you basically set up an unregulated industry right here. Yeah, you see, Mackie, you could grow eight giants on your land, and I'm your next door neighbor, and I grow 8 giants on my land, and Marge's next door neighbor, she grows 8 giants on her land, and we all get together and we trade our product around, so we have a variety, and we all go make a ton of money here.
Yeah.
It's just makes a whole lot of sense to me. Just basically, we're building a community co-op doing these things.
Right. We'll look into visas, Monkey. All right, we're on the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking at acreage up there in Minnesota pretty soon. Should OCM adopt the rules regarding cultivation safety and product testing, his clients would have to follow these, he said. But until then, the number of plants and age of customers would be the only provisions they would have to follow if the court agrees they're allowed to sell. We're trying to be reasonable, O'Brien said. We're not saying you can grow an entire field and sell it without a license. We're saying to the extent you can legally grow your own without a license, you're entitled to sell that product. While the suit isn't asking for broader rights, if the court finds the cannabis as a legal farm product is covered under the constitutional provision, it would have a broader implication. A longtime legalization advocate said last year, starting with the premise that cannabis is a plant, not a crime, we envision a peaceful community where growing a little hemp to smoke, share, or sell at a farmer's market is no more unusual than growing rutabagas or zinnias, wrote Glassroots.
What the fuck are they?
Yes.
Is no more unusual than growing these vegetables I've never heard of.
Rutabagas?
Yeah, what the fuck is a
Rutabagas.
rutabaga? What the fuck?
Zinnias are flowers, okay?
Okay.
Rutabaga, it's a stalked plant, red stalks, green leaves. You only eat the red stalk.
Well, I don't know,
The
man.
green
They
leaves-
seem pretty fucking unusual to me.
No, they're pretty common. We don't grow rutabagas this far south, but they are pretty common.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not that uncommon. We
Yeah,
have
it's
them.
it's probably my ignorance, to be honest. You know.
It's an English thing. Y'all don't eat rutabagas.
But you could
probably.
definitely find rutabagas
eat
at a
them?
farmer's market.
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
Yeah.
usually I like rutabaga and strawberry pie is like a real big thing.
This is the
Really?
next Mackie Tastes. You know, let's get some
You know what?
rutabagas.
No, to be honest, I've never tasted them either. So maybe that is a taste we'll have to do.
A couple of people in chat said they're rhubarb. Is it just rhubarb? I know what
No,
rhubarb
rutabagas
is.
and rhubarb are different.
Oh, I'm thinking
Rutabagas are a
no,
vegetable.
No. Rutabaga is like a turnip. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Rhubarb, he's right. Rhubarb is the red one with the green leaves. But we
Yeah.
don't grow
Right.
either one of those down here.
Oh, we have both those up here.
Yeah, I think they're more of a
Fucking hell.
cooler weather
And you
climate.
would definitely find rutabagas and rhubarb
Yeah.
at your local farmer's market.
Yes,
Well,
right.
Monkey was
But-
there talking about how it goes well with fucking strawberry cream or something. I was
No,
like,
rutabaga.
okay.
Yeah.
No. The rutabaga is more like a turnip. Yeah.
Yeah, now
Right,
you're
I was
saying that.
like-
I was thinking, let's do Mackie Taste. That sounds kind of good. And now it's like, no, it's like a turnip. Now I'm kind of
Well,
like, I don't
we
really
could
want to
do
try it
rhubarb.
now.
But we
Yeah,
could do
rutabagas
rhubarb.
and strawberries would be a weird combo.
It would
but-
be, but rhubarb I've never tasted, and that would be one that might be interesting for us.
Oh,
to try.
rhubarb's good, man. Rhubarb's good. Yeah, rhubbarb
tart.
crumble and custard. Jeez.
Okay,
Yeah.
you already had
You
it.
just
then
got to
it's
use
no
enough
good.
sugar,
No.
you know. Look what we're
Yeah,
doing here. We're
definitely
going up
sugar.
on mad
Oh, yeah.
tangents, giving everybody the munches, you know.
See that? I got stoned and mixed up rutabagas and rhubarb, and we got way off, you know. Anyway, after the law passed, Chief House sponsor Representative Zach Stevenson said he didn't think the constitutional provision will impact the regulation created in House File 100. I think the case law suggests that the regulation is permissible. The Coon Rapids DFLER said at the time, Diffler. I don't know what a Diffler is, but I think there's a strong government interest in regulating here. It isn't carrots or pumpkins. This is an intoxicating substance. Well,
Yeah,
we
but
could-
what if you take your rhubarb and make it into rhubarb wine or some shit? Then it's intoxicating.
Yeah, well, you could do a lot of things like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
just we can keep going. You can, matter of fact, you can take the cannabis as it's sold and consume it as it's sold. You know, don't burn it, just eat it, and you won't get high, will you? So
What?
yeah. Basically, I'm saying the cannabis is only as dangerous as the rhubarb is, unless you burn or
Oh, right,
decarb the
right.
cannabis. You
Yeah.
know?
No, actually, I think rhubarb is more dangerous because if I'm right, if you don't prepare it properly, it can be toxic.
Yeah, the leaves got toxins
Oh.
in them, and the roots have toxins. You only the red stalks are good,
Mhm.
from what I understand.
So, you know, if a kid goes out into the garden and decides to just eat rhubarb leaf, they are looking at a very bad time. And they
Yeah.
use
There's
this argument all the
plenty-
time with the cannabis. You know, it's
Mhm.
fucking ridiculous. Sorry,
And there's
Marge.
plenty of like vegetables and flowers and plants and stuff that like that's the same thing too, right? That are pretty toxic to kids, animals, people, if not,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, that devil cannabis now. Yeah, fucking, it's so ridiculous, man. It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous. But yeah, this article continues. You want to wrap
Okay.
this,
Yeah,
summarize
well,
this one?
we'll run it through the end here. While obscure to many people, Article 13, Section 7 has been top of mind for legalization advocates, appearing on the buttons and on websites. A legal challenge like this one filed last week has been anticipated since legalization. The case law on the issue is relatively thin. in 1996, Chris Wright was charged with illegal sale of cannabis. Wright and his attorney, Randall Teague, argued that Article 13, Section 7 made the charge unconstitutional, while marijuana was illegal in 1996 when he was charged. When the constitutional amendment passed in 1906, it was every bit as legal as a substance in the state of Minnesota as wheat, corn, or soybeans, Wright argued. State versus Wright, the State Court of Appeals disagreed, finding that because cannabis was illegal and because previous courts had upheld those statutes, the constitutional provision did not apply. Even the peddler provision of the constitutional does not create a fundamental right that would have imposed stricter requirements on the government to show that its laws are constitutional. We do not have the prerogative to disregard the Supreme Court's analysis of cannabis laws, the appeals court wrote, having concluded that this case does not present a conflict of fundamental liberty with the established police power prohibiting the sale of cannabis. We decline to engage in further discussion of the meaning of Article 13, Section 7. Sounds like the court doesn't even want to listen to this. Other cases involving otherwise legal farm products found that while the actual sale might be protected from licensing, state health and safety laws could be invoked, even to the point of prohibiting the sale of farm products considered unsafe. In a case involving the sale of custom processed meat, the state Supreme Court found a right to sell, but with exceptions. Now, wait, state processed meat, we're not talking about processing a crop here. We're only talking about growing it and drying it. That's all we're doing. So I don't see where they're going with that. The circumstances leading up to the passage of Article 13, Section 7 make it clear that voters of Minnesota intended to project the commercial relationship between farmers and their customers by restricting the state's power to license the sale of farm products directly to the consumer. He wrote in the court's decision in State versus Hartman. This view was supported by the court's observation in 1925 case, or that Article 13, Section 7 gives recognition to the fact that tillers of the soil stand in a particular position in reference to the marketing of their products, and it prohibits the imposition of a license to sell or peddle the same. So in 1925, sounds good. We do not believe, however, that Article 13, Section 7 can reasonably be read to grant farmers the right to sell products of the farm, the growing or sale of which is otherwise prohibited by law. The provision merely provides that products of the farm for which any person may obtain a sales license, i.e. lawful products, may be sold by farmers without obtaining a license to do so. The same court put an exception of a slightly different but perhaps significant way later when it writes that the Constitution grants farmers the right to sell products of the farm or garden that are not otherwise legally prohibited from selling without obtaining a license. So a lot of legal double talk in there. I don't know where you guys think this is going to go, but it does sound like there is a case, and at the same time, it sounds like the courts are scrambling and double talking, if you will, to try and
That's what
say,
they always
well,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, of course they are. But it's interesting because even if you can grow 8 plants, like if you're growing it for yourself as a home grow, you're going to keep some for your own smoke. How much are we even talking about here? Yeah, you could grow 8 monster plants, but Minnesota has winter time, right?
You do, but yeah, let's just say that on a good year, a home grower could produce 20 pounds.
Okay. Well, that's not bad, but no
Man,
one's
fair.
retiring on
eight
that.
plants. Man, yeah, I could fucking absolutely smash it. Great, growing 8 plants
Yeah.
with no restrictions. Like, yeah, it's no problem. Carry on. If you get more door kicked off, and be like, oh yeah, they're nice plants. You know, you know what I mean. When those times come, you could smash it. You could produce so much if you put your
You
mind to it.
could, but there's also the suggestion too that only so many people are going to want to grow 20 pounds worth of weed because that represents, like you said, a significant cost and significant labor as well. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like,
And a
you
significant
know,
liability. You have to sit there and worry about getting it stolen, all that stuff.
exactly.
I would veg them fuckers from December up until March indoors. They'll go out like the start of April, and they'd be fucking massive. And oh man, it would be huge. Maybe 20 pounds per plant. Bring it, One day we can dream. We can dream. It would be a fun game to play. When you can just grow a cannabis plant and nobody even blinks an eye at it anymore, and you can just do what the fuck you want. Them days will be fucking great. But
Yeah,
we're still a long way from that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm ready for the cannabis farmer market days, though. I
Mhm.
think,
Me
you know,
too.
at some point in time, it's going to happen, but you know, I'm not sure I'll even be alive when it happens. It could be that far out, but
Hmm.
you just, it's got to happen eventually.
To me, that's
You,
the ultimate craft cannabis too. When you can go and like talk to the farmer that grew your weed at the local market or
and buy
whatever.
it
Mhm.
directly from him,
Yeah,
hand him the money, and get the product directly from the hands that put it in the soil. That's it, man.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even when you go on dispensary tours, you go talk to the owner. He's not the guy who grew your weed.
Mhm.
No, no, he's just a guy that runs a store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have Canada, which is legal in cannabis and makes a shitload of money already from all their sales and shit. But that is expected to double, apparently, according to this article, Marge, that you have here.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying, which doesn't really come as a surprise to me. So Cannabis Canada Weekly says market expected to double by 2027. So I don't know where this 5 years thing came from because obviously that's only
That's,
3 years away, but
I
here we
mean,
are.
it's terrible maths, man.
Old article.
Yeah.
Canadian
Yeah.
math.
Canadian
Yeah,
math, yeah.
maybe.
Meth
S-
math. You know, it's
So
the
it's
Mephisto lads, isn't it? You know?
yeah.
Exactly.
They say it's projected to double to $8.8 billion over the next 5 years. So the pace of sales in Canada's cannabis market may be slowing down, but is expected to double over the next 5 years, according to a new report. That's the big takeaway from the latest market insights by Chicago-based industry consultancy Brightfield Group, which noted that doubling will come as more retail stores come online and regulations loosen.
Mhm.
Brightfield said it expects Canada's cannabis market to grow at an annual rate of 10% over the next 5 years to 8.8 billion, driven by increased sales in edibles and vape products. While we saw strong growth in the market in 2021, there's still a great deal of additional potential for the market through the forecast period, especially with additional access to retail, which is insane to me because stores are like every small town in Ontario where I live has a cannabis store. And if you're in a
Mhm.
city of any size, there's multiple weed shops. So there's lots of
Yeah,
access already.
this is
But
what I was wondering. What are they thinking with it doubling? Isn't there already ease of access to cannabis now that pretty much everybody can get hold of it? They're not going to be able to double the people getting hold of it, are they? I don't know.
I don't know unless it's also just more people buying, I guess. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. Maybe we'll
it's weird.
find out because it does talk about the edibles. So while sales of edibles and drinks are projected to continue dwarfing the dried flower segment, both will have sizable annual growth rates that are poised to benefit from regulatory changes that should come online sometime in 2024. Lord, please let this happen. Those changes would see potency limits raised from 10 milligrams of THC, which would help drive more illicit users from the legal to the legal retail channels.
Yeah,
With
see, I'll
edible,
need that big
Look at
time.
that. Somebody's
yeah,
talking sense. Wow, I like you at that.
Finally,
exactly. It's only been
finally.
5 years
I mean, can you
because
imagine going? I need 100 milligrams, and I got to go like 10 boxes of these dang on things. My God,
it's
Mm-hmm.
so
no.
expensive and it doesn't make any sense, honestly. Because I was looking at edibles when I made my order with that online dispensary and they're just so expensive that way. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
just make
Mhm.
my own.
Don't you worry.
We'll be
I'll make
seeing
this.
we'll be seeing fucking articles soon now. Cannabis gummies are causing diabetes everywhere because people have to
Right.
eat so many of them to get high. Jeez.
I
Yeah.
never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is a real limitation to the legal market. So like why would anybody
Mm-hmm.
if yeah, if you have a higher tolerance, then why would you
Yeah,
want to
man.
buy them?
Yep.
Ridiculous. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
let the buyer dictate the market, and everything will be fine. Stop being silly with these silly
Yeah.
rules. Oh, sorry,
Like
Marge.
that. Stop being silly.
So it continues by saying with edibles right now, that market has really been artificially constructed because of those dosage restrictions. In
Mm-hmm.
Canada, that makes it very difficult for that to be a scalable or attractive market. Gomez also believes there will be greater emphasis on premium products going forward as cannabis producers look toward the segment to help stand out from their peers. That trend has begun in earnest over the past year, with companies like Canopy Growth snapping up Supreme Cannabis and Aurora Cannabis announcing it's buying Thrive Cannabis earlier this week. Deals are emphasized by the acquiree's premium portfolio. Those niche craft companies have quickly outpaced their larger and more capitalized counterparts by developing a reputation for strong quality, which has yielded a near cult following for some consumers. they're looking now to, or they're now looking to scale beyond their small corners in the market where they started out, where there's competition from these kinds of craft segments. They gain attention to the larger scale, and those bigger companies try to emulate that or just acquire into that. Although, in my opinion, I think there's a reason why people are drawn to the smaller craft companies versus buying from larger ones. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with those acquisitions. But
Mhm.
for me, this is the change with edibles. I think, I mean, there's so many people who are sort of getting into the cannabis consumption space because of edibles. So if you provide better options for consumers, then more people will buy from the legal market than trying to find it on the illicit market, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem that I noticed even more, even down here in Prohibition land, where more people don't even talk about it out in the open for fear of being overheard, that more people are willing to enter the cannabis game with edibles. So like everybody, first thing you hear is gummy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. Or space cakes, you know, space cakes,
No.
brownies, gummies, and people love that shit.
The
Yeah,
gummies
they
are just
do.
so convenient. You can stick them stick them in your pocket and go. And you can't do that with a space cake or something like that. But as people down here, it's the gummy that's hands down. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're super discreet, and a lot of people really like them, especially if they're sort of new in the cannabis space, generally speaking, and
Mhm.
food draws people to cannabis in a lot of ways because
Yeah,
everybody
so people don't want to
eats.
smoke, you know. I mean, they
Yeah.
can vape, but people prefer vaping to smoking nowadays. But if you can
Yeah.
avoid both and still get a little high, that's
Right.
bonus, man. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but speaking from somebody who likes good edible, I do like the way edible just kind of sneaks up on you, and just before you know it, you're there.
Me
Take
too.
mushrooms for that. Gosh. You know?
Cannabis, I don't know. Cannabis is just a nice gentle lift off, and all of a sudden you
Yeah.
realize you're laughing and things are more funny, and the world's a little brighter, and it's like, oh wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
man.
Mushrooms are great, but that's a bit of a different experience.
That's more of a lift off than an ease out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some mushrooms, you know, take a joint, kind of Budweiser there. You're having a good afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hear that, man.
But
I like the way
damn.
the article also talks about the craft companies are actually getting better, because I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money on cannabis, you might as well have a good experience. Tastes good, packaged well, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love cannabis, that craft companies like that. They're the good ones to go to. If you can find those dispensaries, by all means, those guys.
Indeed. We have news coming here from the UK. Two articles that are put together here from the UK. Everybody, get yourselves ready. Make sure you're smoking. We're not gonna go on any kind of rage fit here. We're gonna stay calm. That's what we're gonna do, everybody.
Exactly which one we're gonna start with here. Here we go.
We're gonna start here, right? So good news, kind of good news. Let's make our way through it and go through the waves of good news, bad news, angry, not angry. Okay, we'll do this together. Hold tight, everybody. UK medical cannabis use surges. That means goes up very quickly. Projections reveal. We have a surge in medical cannabis consumption is propelling the UK to the forefront of Europe's emerging market, new projections suggest. By 2028, the number of medical cannabis patients in the UK is anticipated to skyrocket by 124%, reaching around 141,000 individuals, according to the data from a report released today by Prohibition Partners, a UK-based cannabis data and intelligence company. What the fuck is that? Just randomly based on fucking cannabis data and intelligence company? That's weird. But anyway, so there's a shitload of sales going on here for the medical, I'm using quote unquote, the medical system, for the medical cannabis system here in the UK. And I'm sure many of you know we have the NHS in the UK, which is the National Health Service, and the majority of people's healthcare is through the NHS. But when it comes to cannabis prescriptions, people have to go to a private clinic, which is not NHS related. So they have to pay for their prescriptions. Now, a prescription on the NHS would usually max out at around £10. I think it's £9.64 or something crazy like that. And that's for any of your medicine. But because cannabis isn't provided by the NHS, you have to go and get it privately. You're paying a much bigger rate for the medicine, and you're paying around £50 for 10 grams of cannabis. And this is essentially a privatized company at this point that are just the monopolies there. The government has said these guys are allowed to sell cannabis, but everybody else is not allowed to, and you have to go in to have this what's it called, a consultation, and then you'll be able to buy cannabis. And most people can get the medical shit. So of course, the more people hear about it, they want to go and check out the see if they can get the cannabis, and that's what's making the numbers shoot up. But one thing is, which I've noticed a lot, is a lot of these people are going out there and getting. I'm not even reading the fucking article. I'll go on to the article again in a second. But most of these people signing up to use medical cannabis are just signing up once to get the tub that says I'm a medical cannabis user, and then they can go and get cannabis from the street or use their own homegrown and put it in these tubs and have like a, I don't know, some kind of get out jail free card, just something to show police officers if you're caught with it, you know. So that's the reason why you're seeing so much rise. But anyway, I'll read on with this. A report highlights that the UK, spearheaded by a surge in sales and demand, is driving fresh momentum in Europe's medical cannabis sector. It indicates that consumption volumes per patient in the UK are notably higher than previously anticipated, setting the nation apart as a significant player in the burgeoning industry. And this, us people here in the UK, we love weed, man. Everybody smokes weed here. Not everybody, of course, that would be a massive exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Like, the majority of people either smoke cannabis, have smoked cannabis at some point, or don't care if somebody smokes weed. It's a real popular drug here in the UK. And the fact that it's illegal is just throwing money down the pan, down the toilet, you know? It's ridiculous. But if you can see this chart here on the screen right now, Germany has in its average annual spend on medical cannabis in 2024 per patient. We have Germany spending 1,563 euros. Italy spends 1,465 euros. Poland spends 666 euros. And the UK is more than double Germany, with 3,811 euros per patient in 2024. That's a shitload of money. You know, I'll read a little bit more here. For instance, by the close of 2024, an estimated 62,960 patients are projected to be utilizing medical cannabis in the UK, generating 240 million euros, which is 205 million pounds sterling in sales. This translates to an average annual consumption of 3,811, that's euros, which in pounds would be 3,261 pounds sterling per patient, or $318 per month. 318 euros per month. In stark contrast, Germany, boasting Europe's largest medical cannabis market, sees its patients consuming 1,563 euros worth of medical cannabis annually, or 130 per month. So you can see here that the UK is using a lot of cannabis here, and when they are able to source it legally and feel as if they are not at threat of being arrested or persecuted for their choice of herb, and sometimes it's not even a choice. Sometimes this is medicine for these people. That's why they're getting it medically. But some people are not, you know, they use it as a medicine, but it's, I don't know how to put it. It's they just go and get it from these pharmacies because it's the legal option, rather than going to some dodgy guy and getting whatever you can get. You know, at least there's some kind of regularity to these kinds of medicines.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. That's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Yeah. So people do that, and it feels more legit for sure. But unfortunately, that's not the way it goes here in the UK. And this article does continue, but this is a good time to move on to this next article that we have here. So we've seen that there's a huge rise in the consumption of medical cannabis in the UK, massive compared to any other country in Europe. It is exceptionally high. Well done, everybody, by the way. Keep on smoking. But we have next, we have what to do if you think your neighbor is smoking cannabis.
Oh my God.
And how to tell the police. It's like, hold
What
on.
you should do is nothing, honestly.
Exactly. Keep mind your own damn business. I'm sorry,
Right.
but yeah, maybe they're smoking it for a reason, you know?
And this, briefly going on a kind of tangent here, but I saw a letter as well, which was being shared over on X, and it was the police in a certain area. I can't remember what the area was specifically, but it doesn't even matter. They've sent a letter out to each one of the residents in a particular area, like in a cul-de-sac where there's a group of houses, maybe 20 houses. and they've just sent out letters to everybody who lives there to say, we are getting reports of a lot of people smoking cannabis. Cannabis possession is a crime and you can be arrested for it. We will be in touch with the housing associations in your area, and any breach of tenancy will be acted on swiftly, which means, because the breach of tenancy would include consumption of cannabis or illegal drugs, then people who are consuming cannabis on their property have a chance of being evicted, aka kicked out of their home, even though they could be using cannabis medically. So even if they're legal, they have the prescription and they've gone out and paid the necessary fee to the necessary person, a nice way of putting, they bribed the government to be allowed to do it, they can still lose their fucking homes, man. This is ridiculous. This is persecution. These people have jumped through all the necessary hoops, but they're still getting bullshit like this. Imagine you are that person. Say you have fucking cystic fibrosis or something, right? Say you're like TG, you have bad stomach issues, so you use cannabis to try and soothe these issues, and it works for you. Or let's say that you have a child who needs the cannabis to stop epileptic fits. There's loads of different ways that this gets used for medical use. And then you have this letter land on your fucking doorstep, which is pretty much saying, if you get caught consuming this medicine that has improved your life, you stand a chance of losing your house and even going to prison for it. What the actual fuck is that about, man? This is fucked. It's like they need to make their mind up either way. Do we still need to go on as criminals, or are we legal now? Can we go forward and not be treated as fucking criminals anymore? This is
The right hand's
disgusting.
not
man.
talking to the left hand. That's what's going on here.
Fucking disgusting. It enrages me. So I'll read on with this article. I'll start this article now. Cannabis smokers everywhere in the UK, but the law on weed is clear and you can report people for breaking it. Gosh, be a good citizen now. God damn. It's always been illegal to smoke cannabis for pleasure in the UK. No, it hasn't. That's only been around for like 50 years, maybe since 1926 when it was first illegal, but I digress. Anyway, it's always been illegal to smoke cannabis for pleasure in the UK, but you've almost certainly smelt the distinctive odour of weed in the past despite that. Of course, many have argued for the legislation of cannabis in the UK, following in the footsteps of Amsterdam and now many US states. But smoking cannabis remains illegal in the UK even for medical purposes, and possessing or growing the plant could land you with jail time. So what the fuck is that even saying? But smoking cannabis remains illegal in the UK even for medical purposes.
No, it's not. Well, I was smoking maybe, because didn't somebody say that you have to vape it?
No, yeah, that's right. That's the preferred method. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of the whole deal. You agree when you get your cannabis, you agree to vape it, not smoke it, or something like that.
Ridiculous.
Trev
really?
says something like that. We talked to a couple of medical patients that said something like that.
Huh.
Damn. Yeah, so you could get jail time.
I guess.
I'll carry on here. We have despite that, users of the drug often smoke it publicly with little regard for being punished by the police. It is a Class B drug that leaves a pungent smell that can be encountered on many of the UK's high streets, no pun intended, residential areas or parks. There have been a number of pushes to decriminalise cannabis, more commonly known as weed, and there remains a strong and loud minority who proudly smoke it regardless of the law. But for now, at least it remains illegal, and currently the law for anyone caught with the Class B drug is up to 5 years in prison and unlimited fine, or both. Supply and production carries a longer sentence and of potentially up to 14 years in prison and unlimited fine, or both. Anyone with neighbours who regularly smoke cannabis might be left wondering what you can do about the stench. Can people legally smoke cannabis on their property? That's a title. The short answer is no. Any suggestions that you are allowed to is an urban myth, a police spokesman told Derbyshire Live in 2018. The possession of cannabis is an offence and will be dealt with by the police. But this guy saying that in 2018, which most likely was before November 2018 when the UK legalised for medical use. So this might be taken out of context here. But it is a widespread issue, and we are focusing our resources to target those connected with the cultivation and dealing of the drug to help crack down on the issue. We would encourage anyone who suspects drug activity in their community to contact us. Look at you got a copper in the picture here. He's watering plants and shit. He's topping them. How come he's allowed to do it?
It's something. It's called
That's
a
right.
cannabis farm. That's
You
more
know.
like somebody's living room than
He's
a
a-
cannabis farm.
Caption that shit, you know, a little fucking speech bubble. Fucking spider mites, you know. Sorry, the UK government drug possession guidelines state police can issue a warning or on-the-spot fine of up to £90 if you are found. That's £90 sterling, everybody. If you are found with cannabis or cat, KHAT. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I was
It's a
hoping you would
different
tell us.
drug. I think it's a different drug. Cot.
Is
K-A-H-T.
it a
Like
Something
that
plant?
MCAT, that kind of shit? Oh, God.
No,
that's
I think
it.
it's an African drug. I think. I don't know why I'm remembering that, but I kind of.
Somebody will tell us in the chat. Benny Ben will know. Benny Ben, do you know the answer to this one, bro?
Cot.
You may be able to pay your penalty without getting a formal warning or caution. So essentially, as we said, if you pay the necessary fee to the necessary person, you won't get prosecuted for it. Oh, God damn. But this pisses me off. Up to £90 fine. Now, a £90 fine to some people is nothing. It's like, fine, take the money, now stop bothering me. £90 to some people, that's their children's birthday present. They get found with a little bit of cannabis, they have £90 fine. Now they can't get their kid fucking birthday present. Because of what? But the other guy, it's £90, it's nothing to him. You know, he's put that in his fucking Ferrari for fuel this morning. Nothing. You know, it just the finance system is unfair in my opinion. I think there needs to be another system. Because Monkey, did you say it earlier? Or was it yesterday in the conspiracy stream? I can't remember. But if the punishment for a crime is, was it Ben? I think said it. If the punishment for a crime is a fine, then it's only a crime if you can't pay it. You know,
If you're poor. If you're
yeah.
poor. Yep.
Right.
And that's
That's a good.
essentially it, man.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting
Mm-hmm.
and very true.
That was Ben, and I'll give him the credit for that, but it is that's insightful, you know.
Yeah, and we have a
$1,000 fine to somebody who can't afford $1,000, he might as well be a life sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The penalty is likely to be more severe if you are found to be supplying drugs. That's dealing, selling, or sharing. To report someone, you can contact your local police force. Police will normally keep your identity secret. You see how they say normally keep your identity secret?
Except when
These
they
are
write it up in
not
the
your
paper.
fucking friends, man.
Yeah, like, yeah, this was turned in by XYZ of XYZ town at this address, and here's his telephone number while you're at
Oh
it.
yeah,
Mhm.
even better. But they may share this in the event of a neighbor dispute. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, your
really.
neighbor.
Mhm.
Well, who
That's a
told you I was
problem.
smoking weed? Yeah, we don't want that to happen. No. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, if you have a problem with your neighbor smoking weed, go talk to your neighbor or mind your own business.
Yes.
Please.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The neighbor might
Exactly.
actually be nice about it if you go explain the situation, you know?
Yeah, they might be
Mhm.
like, I had no idea it was bothering you. Here's some things I can do to, make
Yeah,
it smell
yeah.
less or whatever.
You know,
yeah.
It's worth a shot, you know, it's not gonna
Yeah.
make it any worse.
Yeah.
At least you'll get to know each other.
I mean, yeah, maybe it will
Yeah.
solve some conflicts, you know?
Mhm.
Jesus. Anyway, is medical cannabis legal? This is the next title here. In the Misuse of Drugs Act in 2018, cannabis was legalized for medical use. However, this applies to cannabis vapes and tablets, not to smoking it. That's what you were saying, Monkey. Aside from some rare circumstances like taking part in approved medical research trials. So people who have a prescription can vape cannabis products or take tablets, but smoking weed remains illegal. How pathetic is that? In 2018, law explicitly states a person shall not self-administer a cannabis-based product for medical use in humans by smoking of the product. A government report on this says the 2018 regulations introduce a definition of cannabis-based product for medicinal use in humans. Only products meeting the definition will be rescheduled to Schedule 2 of the 2001 regulations and de-designation from the 2015 designation order. How much bullshit is this? Anyway, any other substance or product which is or contains cannabis, cannabis resin, cannabinol, or cannabinol. These said the word.
Cannabidiol?
Oh, cannabinol derivative. Sorry, excuse new sentence. Will remain on Schedule 1. So blah blah fucking blah. They're just gonna go over some legalese bullshit here. And it's just ridiculous. You see how on the one article we see clearly, and everybody sees, that a lot of people are using cannabis for medical use in this country now. But you can still, even though you are a legal user, especially if you're smoking it, you can still suffer consequences legally, even though you have paid the necessary fee to the necessary people. It's a fucking joke, man, and it angers me. How scared are these people now? You know, the people who are legitimately using this shit for medicine, and people are too scared to use it.
Okay, so they're telling people in complexes and flats to go ahead and report neighbors if they smell cannabis smoke. But if their neighbors are smoking cigarettes and and you're smelling cigarette smoke, just suck it up. Don't worry about that
Yeah.
one. You can't do anything about that. But call me about cannabis, but fuck you with cigarettes, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Which is, it is
Ridiculous.
ridiculous because we
Double
live in
standard. Yeah.
cities too. There's all kinds of smells everywhere. Like, it's just what it's like living with other people.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna stop people pissing. It's illegal to piss now because you know.
Well, depends where. Yeah.
Crazy shit, man. It's just sick of these, the hypocrisy. It's like you said earlier, Monkey. The left hand don't know what the right hand's doing. Something needs to be done about that shit, man. It's ridiculous. Jesus. Anyway, should we move on to the next one? Why are U.S. officials seizing regulated cannabis in New Mexico? Do you have the answer to this, Monkey?
I don't know if I have the answer, but I have the questions.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Why are U.S. officials seizing regulated cannabis in New Mexico? This comes from MJ Biz. A New Mexico congressman is pressuring the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to account for what regulated marijuana operators claim is a rash of seizures of state legal cannabis at customs, border, and protection checkpoints. Now, actually, when I started reading this, I immediately thought, why is legal cannabis going through border checkpoints? Because, well, it shouldn't be crossing a border. But then I found out 6 incidents of product lost totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars have been reported by licensed cannabis companies in New Mexico since February, when operators first alerted the state's Cannabis Control Division about the situation, according to documents shared with MJ Biz. In addition to border crossings, Customs and Border Protection maintains inspection stations along major highways in border states. Between February 14th and April 18th, agents intercepted state-regulated cannabis products at the Alamogordo and Las Cruces stations operated by the CBP, Cannabis Bureau of Patrol, whatever that is. State documents show. Products seized by CBP included at least 70 pounds of cannabis flower, concentrates, edibles, disposable vape pens, cartridges, and product samples bound for lab testing. In at least one of the cases, agents used canine units to identify a cannabis transit vehicle for a search.
Bad dog. Bad dog.
Yeah, that's definitely a bad dog. During another incident, Custom and Border Patrol agents informed the driver that they were under arrest and indicated they would be prosecuted by the DEA. Documents show the driver transported regulated cannabis between state licensed businesses where were detained for up to 2.5 hours. Eventually, all drivers and vehicles were released. So far, there have been no reports of any similar stops in either Arizona or California. These are two other border states on the same Mexican border right there. Other southern border states with regulated or other border states with regulated marijuana markets. In addition to extensive product loss, the stops are casting a chilling effect over New Mexico's $600 million regulated cannabis industry, operators say. And federal officials indicated that the interceptions will continue. That's kind of weird, though. You know, we got legal cannabis and the feds are grabbing it, not giving it back, and they're saying they're going to keep doing it. So what's
why?
up? I mean,
Because the rats are going to eat it. That's why, isn't it?
Rats are hungry. They got to feed
Rats.
the rats.
That's right.
That's what it is. That, you know, they moved their police department out there in New Orleans, and now they got to get the rats some more cannabis. Got to do it. Though drivers in the stops were released without charges, New Mexico cannabis companies have lost products worth in excess of several $100,000, said Kai Kirk, managing products of Las Cruces-based Health Space Division. Kirk said representatives from 9 other licensed cannabis businesses sent a letter to U.S. Senator Mark Heinrich on April 10th, asking the Border protection policy be updated to allow state-regulated cannabis shipments through and for federally seized product to be returned. In addition to Kirk and Headspace, the signatories are, and there's a whole list of other cannabis companies that I won't go through. So far, none of the products have been returned. It just seems like a whole line of cars is waved through, and then they come to one of our guys, gets pulled over. Kirk told MJ Biz Daily. It creates a whole other level of stress for us. In some cases, transport vehicles intercepted by CPB were carrying state-regulated cannabis products belonging to multiple cannabis license holders. And cannabis seized en route, the testing labs force operators to send new samples for testing. According to documents obtained by MJ Biz, companies that experienced federal seizures were unsure how to remove those items from state BioTrack seed to sale program without triggering alarms that would indicate diversion to illicit markets. No paperwork was given for the seizure and no message was indicated. So can you imagine this? You're in a state and every gram of cannabis that's grown and dried is tracked. And all of a sudden you're moving it from one store to another. And all of a sudden you can't account for 90 pounds. Oh my
That's
God.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, and they don't even give a letter saying, yeah, we have it. It's dumb. So anyway, escalating the situation. The situation is drawing attention from states and federal elected officials, including U.S. Representative Gabe Vasquez, a former council person in Las Cruces, the largest city in southern New Mexico. That products that ship north from Las Cruces area or toward Albuquerque, about 3 hours away, seem most at risk. Vasquez's office says a formal request to Homeland Security, which oversees border protection, to request a briefing on the matter. Cecilia Belso, the lawmaker requested a briefing. The lawmaker spokesman told MJ Biz, the state regulators are not acknowledged the problem, but have yet to confirm how widespread it is or what it might be behind it. We recognize the concern this presents for the cannabis industry in New Mexico and are working to collect as much information as we can related to this issue. Andrea Brown, a state cannabis control division spokesperson, told MJ Biz. In response to claims of a policy shift, CPB has said publicly that it's merely enforcing federal marijuana law as it always has. In response to questions from MJ Biz, CBP, I keep saying that wrong, pointed out that cannabis remains federally illegal, that states violating the Controlled Substance Act encountered while crossing a border, arriving at the U.S. or port of entry on the Border Protection Agency checkpoint may be deemed inadmissible or subject to seizure, fines, and arrests. So basically, what they're legally saying is that any cannabis that they are policing for near a border and they don't always stop vehicles at the border. They set up checkpoints anywhere around the border. And if you just happen to come through there with cannabis, they don't care about your state laws. They're going to enforce the federal law, which says cannabis is illegal, because they're federal employees. They're not state employees. And while the federal government is kind of turning their head in one way to cannabis, in this particular state, the Border Protection is not turning its head and say, we're just doing our job. So my question is on this whole article is, who is the guy in New Mexico that's telling these people to do it and they're not telling them to do it anywhere else in the country?
Right. The what's behind it.
Well, CPB has jurisdiction over areas within 100 miles of any international border. Now, when I read this in the article, it scared the hell out of me. International border. Now, any coastal area of the United States, if you go 12 miles offshore, you're in an international border. So on any coastline, 88 miles from the coast, you're within 100 miles of an international border. So you see where I'm going with this? Any coastal state that has legal cannabis can be harassed in this way, according to the law that they're determining here. If they want to really sit out there and really take it to the nth degree and really dissect the law, which, believe me, is happening a lot in the United States these days, they could really start doing a lot of damage, bypassing state legality, saying, well, this is a federal matter because you're too close to the coast now. Beach towns would have zero cannabis. You couldn't drive on beach roads or anything like that. Wow. It could get bad. So anyway, the CPB has jurisdiction over areas within 100 miles of any international border. In addition to border crossings, the agency maintains checkpoints within the United States. These include interdiction points along major highways where travelers and vehicles might be stopped and inspected. According to operators, the risk appears specific to cannabis traveling northbound from Las Cruces area toward, I think I got this already. Southbound cannabis is not even being talked about there. Border protection checkpoints were known as a hazard when New Mexico legalized adult use in 2021. In 2022, the ACLU of New Mexico warned that the presence of federal law enforcement in New Mexico threatened a disastrous impact on the state's regulated cannabis industry. Some operators even set up their businesses with such risks in mind. Ultra Health, which operates 37 cannabis retail stores in New Mexico, specifically chose locations for its cultivation and retail operations to avoid border protection, CEO Duke Rodriguez told MJ Biz. Even so, transporters for the company are still occasionally stopped. The most recent seizure was about 9 months ago, he said. It's nothing new, Rodriguez said. I don't see any escalation or more aggression from the CPB. Competing theories continue at the risks. Regulated New Mexico cannabis operators are required to report any product losses to state officials within 24 hours, CCD spokesperson Brown said. No loss statistics were immediately available. In the absence of any clear explanation or reliable statistics from CPB, state operators are forced to concoct their own theories and plans of action. Theories attempting to explain the phenomena range from new or inexperienced CPB staff or rogue agents acting on their own accord, or possibly cannabis transporters acting indiscreetly. Rodriguez believes that any spike in seizures is attributed to the new operators in the growing market, but other operators insist the problem is new. Colorado-based multi-state operator Schwaz said that they had owned several operations in New Mexico, shipped product within the state for years.
Is that not Swayze?
Could be Swayze will do that. If I don't mess up at least 5 names a show, I don't feel complete.
No, I think you was right. It's just, Patrick Swayze.
Well,
the show is not affiliated with Patrick Swayze in any way.
Okay, but anyway, could be Swayze, look at that. But anyway, it would be great to come to some clarity from some federal authorities. He told MJ Biz, in the meantime, New Mexico operators have a choice: shift the flow of goods or run the gauntlet. Like I said, I don't understand why this one state, and only this one state, is having this problem, because all Arizona, New Mexico, California, they all are set up very similarly with that border situation in there, but only New Mexico is having these issues with seizures. So it leads me to believe that something is going on locally there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it always goes to show you, until it's legal, it's not legal.
The battle is not over. Far from it.
No. Even when it's rescheduled, this still will not be legal, and they'll still be going through the same battle right here. You're transporting an illegal substance or contraband from one point to another. The fine may go down, it may change how it's done, but yeah, the federal government is always going to find a way to stick their nose back in this market here, it seems like. So nothing new, but very interesting that if you're within 100 miles of a border, you may be stopped and inspected. I live in the deep South, and I've actually seen border. I don't live on a coast. I don't live near a border checkpoint, but I've seen border patrol people. I've been not really searched, but I've been surveilled. It's crazy.
Starts your shit, man. Yeah, it's crazy when they look into the law in such fine detail. That was one of the things we were looking at the start of the show. Looking into the law in fine detail and finding things that are in favour of cannabis users. But if you look into more detail, there's also laws that are not in favour of cannabis users. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
This is definitely not one that's in favor of it. I mean, obviously, they should be able to tell a state licensed cannabis shipment from an illegal cannabis shipment coming across the border. I mean, with all the paperwork, I just don't see a cartel or a smuggler going through all that packaging requirements and all the paperwork.
Oh God, no.
All that stuff like that. So these people are on the level that they can present all these transport documents that the states require. But for some reason, the federal government just says, nope, it's cannabis, we're taking it. I don't know.
Yeah. We just quick shout out there in the chat. We have Ace Hound, who this is the first time he's catching the show live. So a quick shout out to Ace there in the chat. Thanks for coming to join us, man. I hope you're enjoying the live show. But we also have a shout out here to Jeff Papillier. He says he was raided last Thursday. Jeff's in the UK. So he's still
Wow.
growing illegally. So he got the knock. He did, unfortunately. Unlucky Jeff. They trashed his scrogs in the greenhouse. They left 90% of his stash. They didn't really do a search, and all of his keep and mushrooms haven't been touched. Not a complete loss, but still, that is fucked, mate. I hope you're all right, man. I hope you're not too traumatized by the whole experience. God damn.
No, man, you still got friends. It's shit. You had to go through that.
But if you want to come on the show sometime and tell us about it, tell us about what happened, what's going to happen in the future. Let us know,
Same
keep in
old
touch.
fella that got him the first time. He said, that's some people just can't get enough of it. That's the way it is. What'd you say we do a wheel spin, Mackie? Let's take a little break.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. I've got it on the other screen loaded up. But
That's fine. We've got another story to come back to after this, but we'll do a wheel spin real fast.
Sweet, right. Let me just get the address. We just moved to the end screen. No, because it can't just move to the end screen. That's crazy talk. All right,
So
give me a
we're
second.
gonna be
Let's set this up.
We're going to be giving away 5 Quirkle Femmes today is what we're giving away.
I'm going to go here. Wheel of names. There it is. Control AV. There we go. Done. Right, so we're ready to go, I think. Let me just put that on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so remember, you have to be here to claim the prize, everybody. We have just 15 entries this week. I don't know why it was so low this week. You will need to get over there and sign up on the next one. It'll be sorry, Monkey?
I said the people who did sign up get a better chance this way.
Yeah, you got some good odds today.
That's right. Yeah, so maybe don't sign up, all right?
Somebody's going to sign up. Somebody's going to get beans one way or another,
Yeah, man. So we have a curmudgeon, also known as Grumpus, Eulogy, Zuara, Bang Switch, Morgasmo, Billy Barnes, Hawk 518, Turpopotamus, Lord Bad Kitty, Laszlo, Type On Grower, South Silly, Cookie Grow, Adam Bomb, and Firetop. And what were you saying there, Monkey? What was the prize for this one today?
5 Quirkle Femmes.
All right. Green Grocer said I must have put my name in the wrong place. I think so. Maybe you put it on the because there's the Mackey's monthly giveaway, but then you also got Monkey's weekly giveaway. So pay attention to the title of the thread that you're
in the same section of the site, aren't they? So yeah, you got to watch out and pay attention what you're doing there.
Yeah, we testing you all. Yeah. But so this is already on the screen. We'll get this spin done. And again, if you want to enter into next week's, then tomorrow there will be, and if you listen to this, no, you won't be listening to it live because I edit it out. So if you listen to us live now, which you should be, tomorrow over on Percys Grow Room, there'll be the next thread, which will be Monkey's weekly giveaway number 4. Look out for that. I'll put it in the top of the forum, so it's at the banner at the top, so it's easier for you all to get to and get entering. Because I hear if we get more than 50 people enter, we'll give away 2 prizes.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, that's what I've done on my comp. So.
Yeah, I think we can handle that. We get a ton, we can up the prizes. Yeah.
Let's get up to 50 for the next one. We can do it. But I think we're good to spin. Are we ready? Should we do it? Ready for the countdown?
Let's do it.
Make it happen.
3, 2, 1. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Is it going to be? Who's it going to be? Oh, it's looking like it's Firetop. Nice. You can do with the beans as well. Nice. What are you saying, Firetop? Are you out there? Now all you have to do is be like, yeah, I'm here.
That's all we need is yep, man, it's me. Thank you.
He's scrambling for his phone right now.
Firetop. Hello. He's like, well, he probably just went out back to check something, Hello.
He's probably just popped out for a second. Oh no.
Mr. Firetop.
Come on, Firetop.
He's almost like always here. There he is.
Calling our fire. There he is. Whoop,
yes.
Whoop, got him.
Woo.
Well done, bro. Well done. Congratulations. Get in touch with Monkey. You know what to do by now, bro. You know what to do. Well done.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if this address hadn't changed, I probably still have it. So.
Oh man, we should have so wound him up a little bit. Be like, I don't see him in chat there, but where? You say he's written something? Where did he write something? Where? I still don't see him.
Crash? I think the stream crashed.
Oh no.
What?
Trolled.
Very cool.
Yes, congrats, Firetop. And don't forget, everybody, come and join in for next week's, which will be number 4. Head over to percysgrowroom.com if you're not a member already.
And Firetop's here almost every Sunday. So, yeah, it's about time, brother.
Yes, well done, bro. Well done. So we have the next one. We were talking about can Scotland legalise cannabis, but that was behind a paywall, so we don't even get to read it out, unfortunately, everybody. So we're going to skip that one. and go on to this one about some crazy shit going on in New York. And this is for you, I think, Marge.
Yes, it is. This is a pretty long article, so I probably won't go through the whole thing, but I think we'll get the gist. Well, some of it from the title, but I'll continue.
It's a
So
long title.
yeah, yeah, just like the article. Mayor Adams announces 75 illegal smoke and cannabis shops ordered closed, nearly 6 million in penalties, and over 3,800 counts of violations issued during first week of Operation Padlock to Protect.
Padlock to protect. What a bunch of
That
assholes, man.
What about the
is-
children?
Exactly. And that's just the title. So let's get
Ugh.
into it. New York Mayor Mayor City, blah, blah, blah. Let's start all over because that fumbled that. New York City Mayor Eric Adams today announced the result of week 1 of Operation Padlock to Protect, a sustained multi-agency enforcement action to shut down illegal smoking cannabis shops across the 5 boroughs. In the first week of enforcement, the New York City Sheriff's Joint Compliance Task Force, made up of members from the Sheriff's Office, the New York City Police Department, and the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, sealed 75 locations and issued nearly 6 million in penalties. The Sheriff's Joint Compliance Task Force conducted operations on May 4th, 7th, 9th, and 11th.
Well, the Sheriff's Joint's
joint
compliance, you know?
Right.
Your joints do not
Unintended.
comply.
So they're saying that this week 1 of Operation Padlock to Protect reaffirms what we've long said. With the backing of legal authority behind us, our administration will act swiftly to combat illegal cannabis and smoke shop operators, said Mayor Adams. For too long, illegal operators have posed a threat to our children. There it is.
Oh
So it was
my
there.
God.
It had to be
A
there.
threat to our children, our public safety, and our quality of life.
Oh
And
my
they have
God. I hate this guy so
undermined-
much. Eric Adams is a dick. I'm just saying. I don't live in New York and shit, but I just know this guy's a fucking prick. Just from what he's saying here. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
Marge.
that's okay. He goes on, and they have undermined those justice-involved legal businesses that are trying to succeed. With this coordinated and sustained multi-agency enforcement, we will help usher in a thriving, safe, and just legal cannabis market that our city deserves while protecting our children, families,
Again.
and vibrant business districts from being subjected to these brazen storefronts.
You know, it's okay to have all these people shitting in the streets, though, right, Mr. Adams?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not going to
Yeah,
get
of
into
course.
Without a license.
it.
Never
God.
mind the children, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Although it is a good question, what do you think about him shutting down all these weed shops when it comes to legal businesses? Because obviously it's legal in New York.
It's
mean,
bullshit.
are they-
Again, it's you haven't paid the necessary fee to the necessary people. You know, it's
Right.
like if they're already up and running and there's no problems, other than you haven't paid the license fee, then why not make it so these people can continue to run their legitimate business and still be able to obtain a license? Instead of making it so difficult to obtain it, then you're going to shut down people's functioning businesses that can be turned into tax-paying businesses. And they have staff there that are also being paid wages. If you shut these things down for no good reason, people are going to be losing the jobs and the local economy is going to be massively affected. You know, it just
Yeah.
it makes no fucking sense why they would do it. Like, this guy is up and running already. Have we had any problems? Let's check. No. Everything seems to be going fine. They seem to be complying with all the rules. So here's a license for you. Continue doing the good work. If you do something wrong, we'll revoke the license and you will not be able to function in your business here. You know, it just seems as simple as that. But these fuckers, they're in it for money. All the time they're in it for money, man. The only reason why they're going to shut these people down is because they haven't paid the necessary fee to the necessary person. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
Crockett. Pisses me off.
It is.
Sorry, Marge. I'm going
No,
a little
that's
bit
okay.
ranty on you.
I asked, so I got what I asked for.
You brought it on
Um,
yourself, Marge. It's your fault. Gosh.
Well, the article goes on to say the legalization of cannabis was long overdue and represented an important step towards righting past injustices, said U.S. Representative Dan Goldman. However, the unchecked proliferation of unlicensed and unregulated smoke shops endangers consumers, children, and communities. These unlicensed shops undermine the time, effort, and money that law-abiding New Yorkers invested to obtain legal licenses. I applaud Mayor Adams for prioritizing this issue, as well as the governor and state legislator for empowering local law enforcement to take action against illegal operators. Because earlier in the article, before it shows a series of photos of police officers raiding these stores, They sent out 77 cease and desist orders, and 75 shops were sealed, 370 notices of violations, holding 3,878 counts of violations across NYPD and all these other law enforcement agencies, and more than almost 6 million in civil penalties were also issued, and that was week 1. So,
Wow.
I mean, you get a lot
Damn.
of these legal represent or like, state people and talking about, I guess, patting each other on the back about how horrible it is to have these unlicensed state shot like smoke shops. There's no ambiguity in the law. It is illegal to sell cannabis without a license. For the first time, ambiguity on how to enforce the law is now gone, said New York City Council member Gail A. Brewer. I know more than most how difficult enforcement has been. So it's a lot of quotes from a lot of people talking about how great this is. What I would love to see this article talk about, which I can't seem to see, is how much is it to get a license in New York? Like I kind of agree with you, Mackie. They sometimes make it so prohibitive for people to get these licenses that,
Mm-hmm.
it's unless you have really deep pockets, it's that
Yeah,
industry is just not for you.
yeah,
But
and
it doesn't
it's
talk about it at all. So I find that interesting.
yeah, it's really fucked up, man. It's like the people who have been in the cannabis business for a long time haven't got the money because they've all been sent to
Yeah.
prison. You know,
Or
it's
they
fucked.
just price them out of it until,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really have a whole lot of options.
Yeah, and we pay for that. Let's say it's Claude. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's this is what your tax money is going towards. You know,
Mm-hmm.
And it's so
it's
many people
shocking.
are quoted being like, the children, the children, the children. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the children are the ones who are
No, but this is
losing
what
out
they
on
do:
this,
is
but
they get something that we all agree with. We all agree that we don't want children getting hold of cannabis. We can all agree to that, and they use that against us to try and make us agree with their argument. It's essentially, I don't know, some kind of straw man or a false dichotomy. I don't know. It's a specific logical fallacy for sure.
mhm.
It's fucking ridiculous. They always do the same kind of shit, man. They're just crooks. This is not for the sake of the children or the fucking safety of the public or any of that shit, because cities all over the Western world here are crumbling and they don't give a fuck about us. They don't care about what our children see on the way to school. You fucking
Mhm.
these people, they think we're all fucking stupid, man. They don't give a shit about us. They give a shit about themselves and their friends and how much money they can make this year. They don't give a fuck about what's going on with people consuming cannabis and shit. It frustrates me, man. It really does. It's disgusting, and they just treat us like we're fucking stupid. And this continues to happen, and not just in New York City, but all over, the UK, many cities throughout the USA. It's just when are things going to change, man? What the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know, but they're cracking down. And this article was published May, I think it said 14th. So that was week 1. So
damn.
I don't know how many weeks they're going to be doing this for,
It's a
but
shame, man. But people with good businesses, people who have, it's like your favorite coffee shop or consumption lounge
yeah,
or dispensary could be just raided and be like, "Oh, you shut down now. Why? Because we fucking said so. That's why." They haven't broken any rules. They don't have the license. Sure. Okay, that's maybe breaking one of the fucking rules, but make it easy for these people to get the licenses.
right.
It's just fucking ridiculous, man. It's being taken over, and this is the scary thing about the whole Schedule 3 thing, isn't it? It's going to be taken over by big pharma and companies rather than letting the mom and pop stores do their thing, because that's what we want to see. That's what the majority of
It's
the cannabis community want to see.
sounds like a big pharma move, but I don't really know, man. I want to see what happens here, but yeah, it's scary.
Everything is a big pharma move now. They're in control of everything. Well, you have to check out yesterday's show for that one. Let's not do it. Fucking conspiracies, man. But yeah, big pharma are in control of so much, and I don't know. It's just one of the things that is keeping cannabis from properly flourishing. It's the tobacco industry, the alcohol industry, big pharma, plastics, so many things, so many things.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, man. But it's a shame to see, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on here. I just want to see what happens over the next, I don't know, numerous weeks, numerous months to see how many places actually get shut down. What the consequences? Does anybody face prison time? It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There seems to be better ways to do this. Is there anything else to add to this one, Margie? You done here?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's the rest of the article was a lot of people just talking about how great it is that they're saving their community and working against the black market and all that
We're
stuff.
doing this for you. Look
Yeah.
how safe we are keeping you now. Mind that syringe. Don't tread there. You know?
And I mean, in some parts, I do see if you're a legal cannabis operator and you have a proliferation of shops opening up around you and you did spend the money, then, that can be probably pretty frustrating too. But like you said, if you make it a little more equitable so that it's at least more accessible to a wider range of people, then that might be go a long way to help mitigate the problem before it even becomes a problem.
Yeah. I'm sure there's already lots of fees to pay before you even get to the license when you're setting up a consumption lounge. Rent,
Yeah.
taxes, of course, plenty of taxes.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. But we covered some good news, man. It seems like there is still progress going on. This one is a massive step backwards, I feel. But there is still some progress going on around the world. Still, collectively, we're moving forward. The aggregate of all the scores put together puts us about one step further forward than we were last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you can ask for, as long as there's progress. But there's one more news story that I wanted to get to, but it's not necessarily a news story. It's just an announcement. And Martin Condon from Martin's World, he comes on the show sometimes. Been on the show many times, Martin has. Good friend of the show. He's officially running for office for local
That
elections.
is amazing.
Mm-hmm. So if you know anybody, sorry, much.
What office is he running for? Like,
I'm not too sure. I want to get him on the show so we can. It's a local election, so I think it's just for his local area for now. But he could, he will win. He will win, no doubt. In my opinion. But fuck knows, I don't know anything about that shit. But I just hope he does. Fucking go on, Martin, you legend. So if you're in Ireland, go fucking support him, man. And I want to get him on the show so we can discuss the specifics of it from himself. Not just find out what his cannabis policy is as well, but find out what other policies he is planning to run on to, and find out more perspectives from what he's going to be looking at during his campaign. So very exciting, man. Very happy for him, and I can't think of a better person to be doing it. It's a fucking legend.
Yeah, that's
we need
awesome.
more politicians like him.
It'll be a lot of work too. So if he can come on, talk to us about how we can support him for wherever we are, that would be also good, because it is a lot of work.
And even how to do it, because there might be people in Ireland or the UK will have a different process, but it will be similar. But if everybody who listens to the show ran for office, we'll start taking over the world. Everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow.
We have in all. Yeah. We weren't supposed to expose that until episode 500. Sorry. But yeah, fair play to Martin, man. Good luck to you, mate. I hope you do very well. I'm sure he will do very well. But hopefully we'll get him on the show soon and we can find out all the finer details from him himself. That would be very cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so more news as well. It's approaching the end of the month, so we're going to have a Patreon session on Friday. That's approaching. That's going to be like the 25th? All right, Friday this week. All right, everybody?
Yeah, look at your calendar.
Yeah, that's right. Check it out on the calendar. But that's going to be the Patreon session. We don't know what we're talking about yet. We might just talk about some random things. We'll see what happens. But we always have a good session. We all get super high and just chat some random shit. Not live, just sitting in the background, chilling with each other and enjoying some crazy conversation, which is always fun. Ed Rosenthal. Everybody knows Ed. He's coming to join us on Tuesday for an interview. We've got to find out what he thinks about Schedule 3. And some other stuff as well, some seeds that he's making with Humboldt. So that's going to be a cool interview. I think we're going to make that one live for everybody. So if you hear this, you'll be able to come and check it out over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/high-on-homegrown on Tuesday at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. You'll be able to join us for an interview with Ed Rosenthal and see what he thinks about all that stuff. So that's going to be cool. And then on Thursday, we also have Tom Rakes, who is the CEO of Seedsman Seeds. He's coming on the show to talk about just the recent things that they've been up to, for one. But specifically, we want to talk about how are they able to sell clones now in certain states in the USA, which is very cool. So we're going to figure out what's going on there with Seedsman as well. So some cool interviews coming up. So yeah, join us on Tuesday. That will be open to everybody, but the one for Tom will be closed off to just the Patreons on Thursday, and then we have the Patreon session on Friday. So lots going on this week, everybody. So come and join us for all the sessions. What else do we have? Any more news to add here?
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
think there is.
Think of
right?
anything really? No.
That's just about everything. Damn, that was it's a damn good show. Damn good show. Let's go to the outro. Look, there you go. There's the wheel on the screen now.
We found it.
I
Yeah.
had it all prepared
And
to do
it's
on the
blank.
fucking outro. Fuck. Sorry.
He said anytime, man.
I'm trying to
That's the
find
way
it. I'm
goes.
trying to find it.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's set up to be done anytime now. So there we go. There we go. All good. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't forget, if you want to take part in the giveaway for next week, head over to percysgrowroom.com. Make sure you are a member of the forum with at least 10 posts, and you'll see the thread tomorrow. All you have to do is comment on it. You don't have to even say much. Just say, yes, please, I will take part, or something like that, and you'll be added to the list for next week. Yeah. I've left the music on a little bit in the background. There. Okay. It's turned off now. Yeah. Yeah. Elected admin by a unanimous decision. But yes, what else was going to say there? We got, make sure you get over to Percy's for the Monkey Giveaway. We also have Mackie's monthly giveaway, which you can join in on as well and win some beans from Mephisto over on that competition. Anything else to add? I don't know. There's always so much going on. If you're not a member of Percys Grow Room already, then make sure you go and sign up over on percysgrowroom.com. And then we also have Marge with the edible show. Marge, you want to talk about this new edible show you've got up and running?
Yeah, Bite Me the Show about edibles. New episodes come out every Thursday, and I think that's it. On your
Yeah.
favorite on your favorite podcasting platform or on my website. Either way, you can listen however is best for you.
That's right. Just use your favorite search engine and search for Bite Me the Show about edibles, and you'll find
Yes.
it. Yeah, and of course on
Yes.
Instagram and all the major social networks. Check it out, everybody. Check it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Fire
but-
Tops reminded me in there about the bonsai competition. Yeah, anybody who's interested in the Canada bonsai competition over at Percy's, jump on over. It's an invitational. Take a look at the rules. Hit up Sparky. We'll get you involved.
Man, I've seen some cool bonsai trees this week over on YouTube. I don't know, the algorithms picked it up or something. And I also randomly saw some New Zealand politician, I think she was from New Zealand, doing that hacker thing. You know, that shit that they do like before the rugby and shit? So cool. You know, hacker.
What are they doing?
Haka, hacker, I think it's pronounced. I don't like it
Okay.
when they dance and well, kind of dance and sing, but it's real cool stuff. Yeah, search for it. New Zealand MP does hacker. Very cool.
Hmm.
Haka. It's very cool shit, I think, anyway. I'm sure there's people in the chat who know what I'm talking about, so I don't sound like too much of a crazy person. But but anyway, yeah, that's it for this week. Of course, just like every other week, if you see a news story you want us to talk about, sorry, let's go back. Improper Weed Viking, who is way down south, so he knows. It's pronounced hookah. Hookah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Huhka.
Huh.
But yeah, see, I'm not crazy. There's other people who know what it is.
Honka.
Hookah. Good shit. Check it out, man. Go and search a YouTube video of it after. It's very cool stuff. But yeah, if you see a news story any time throughout the week you want us to cover on next week's show, then do send it to us on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, or even email us, hionhomegrown@gmail.com, or you can contact us over on percysgrowroom.com as well. Even our Discord server, which is linked in the description of this video or the download. So there's loads of ways to get in touch. Don't be shy. But that's it for now. Thank you, as always, everybody, for joining us live. Thank you to everybody who downloads the show and listens to the show on download as well. We appreciate that too. We appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the episode, man. Yes.
Yeah, man.
But
It was good.
I think that's just about everything, right?
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Finished up. We got it all.
That's it. Don't forget to get over Percy's. Sign up and take part in the competition. Well, the giveaway for next week. Stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
See you
Stay high.
later.
Oh, yeah, Phil, Percy's is free. Yes. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye.